Major Black reporting to the General's office as directed, sir.
At ease. How are you, Bill?
Fine, just fine.
Sit down.
It's good to see you looking so well after all these years.
I wish you'd tell that to my Elsa. These stars don't always twinkle, you know.
Well, I don't think a better man ever wore them, Al.
I wish you'd tell that to the Pentagon and to General Morris. Did you know he picked you for this mission?
No, I didn't.
When he called me into his office and told me who he had picked, well, let's say it was a rare display of good judgment. And I'm glad to have you back in my command again. Cigarette?
Oh, thanks.
Before we go over the last 10 years, there are a couple of things I want to talk to you about. I think they have some important plans for you when this mission's over.
If I get back.
I know it's risky. It's the most dangerous assignment that's ever come out of this office, Bill. That's one reason I decided to send my son along.
You mean Jim?
Yes, he's the first lieutenant now. A damn good one. And he's a definite asset to the mission. He organized a good part of it himself without my help. And besides knowing his job forward and backwards, he's reliable in combat.
Well, he's a remarkable boy, Al. I've read about him a few times.
Sending him on this mission serves another purpose. Much more personal one. If Jim really has the five-star potential I think he has, it's worth risking his life to develop. You see, this mission needs him, but he also needs this mission. What you haven't read about Jim was that his main weakness is respect for military authority. Well, maybe appreciation would be a better word. There have been a few occasions when he's used my rank as a crutch. I just think he resents being subordinate.
Growing pains.
When he's 27 years old, I'm willing to call it social immaturity. He needs something serious, something important to orient his values, to make him realize that high rank is unreachable if you can't live up to the less glamorous demands of subordinate rank. The pressure and responsibility of this mission are like a prescription for maturity, and the urgency of combat makes it a double dose. No, Bill, I don't expect a miracle from one mission. But it is a definite positive first step on the road he's got to travel before he can realize his full potential. Although he's the best second officer for this mission, I want you to watch him. He might question your authority if it conflicts with something he wants. Now, if he does mouth off, if he ever does, I want you to let him have it with both barrels. I want you to crack the whip and make him jump.
Well, isn't that a little harsh, Al?
Not when he's my son, it's not. I want you to give him a giant economy-sized version of everything he dislikes about people that outrank him. If he can't take it, he'll just have to suffer the consequences. But if he's got the stuff the big boys are made of, it'll do him a lot of good. Give him the shaking up he's needed for a while. Do you understand what I want?
Make him reach for that star.
The 3 enlisted men I picked from the Commando School will be here tomorrow morning for a briefing. I want you to make Jim conduct it. Let's see if he breaches the death question. He can't get too much experience with this sort of thing.
Well, I'll see that he gets all the experience he needs.
Good. Phil, my doctor said that any decent ulcer should be soaked in cold scotch at least once a day. So what do you say we go over to the officers' club and I'll buy you a drink?
Good. Sadie, remember that girl that we used to have over? As you were. This is Lieutenant Ramsey, and I'm Major Black. I'm in charge of the mission you've been asked to volunteer for. Now, as you know, I can't tell you a thing about it until you've agreed to go. Now, I realize how unfair that may seem, but this mission has the highest security classification. All I can say is that what you'll be doing has priority importance to the United States, that you've each been handpicked from every commando file the Army has, and that your chances of returning here alive are very, very slim. After you've agreed to go, you've heard the plan, you cannot change your mind. Now, who wants out? Thank you, gentlemen. You've now reached the point of no return. Lieutenant Ramsey will explain the mission to you.
Thank you, Major. Any of you men are hot or uncomfortable, feel free to remove your jackets. If you'd like to smoke, you may do so. As the Major stated, this mission is of priority importance to the United States for reasons that will become quite clear to you in just a moment. The reasons for your being here now began about 2 months ago in North Africa. Observers we have posted in the area of Biskra, that's here on the map, B-I-S-K-R-A, Biskra, reported sighting a number of German convoys in the area. Now, there weren't too many convoys at first, about half a dozen or so every day for a week. Army intelligence was quite interested, suspecting that the Germans might be trying to build up a supply base in the area. But Biskra itself is strategically unimportant, and no one was able to explain exactly why the Germans were converging the convoys in that area. Well, about 2 weeks later, the convoys stopped. All activity stopped except for an occasional staff car, an occasional jeep. It appeared as though the Germans had simply driven the trucks into the area, dumped whatever cargo they were carrying, and left it to rot there in the middle of the desert, which hardly makes any sense. So intelligence got in touch with every contact it has in North Africa. It queried the French resistance, and even went so far as to conduct some high-level espionage in Berlin, all of which turned up nothing, not even a shred of information. And that made our curiosity all the greater, because we knew the Germans had something out there in that desert that they were shrouding in high military secrecy. When the Pentagon, when Washington asked for a report on Biskra, intelligence was forced into an embarrassing position because it had to admit that it had run into a brick wall and had zero data. So everyone waited until last month. It was on the night of the 10th that one of the generals on the German Nazi staff organized a plot to assassinate the Fuhrer. Well, unfortunately, the Gestapos had an informer, and they were able to crush the plot, and they went after the general who had organized it. He found out in time and escaped to the Allies. He defected. And when he came into our hands, he told us every top-secret plan he knew. Well, he wasn't actually so disloyal to Germany, because the following day he committed suicide. But not even the general in his high position knew all the details concerning Biskra. But he did give us some names, and that was enough to have our agents go on, because by the 15th, they got the whole story, including maps, blueprints, names, dates, the works. Now, the Germans have built an experimental laboratory in the most unlikely-looking place in the world for the purposes of concealing it. It's in the bottom of an abandoned mine. And it's not heavily guarded either on the outside. That's more German deception. You see, about a year ago, the Germans captured some French scientists who were working on a project to convert certain chemical elements into a super explosive war material. Now, at this very moment, those scientists are inside the laboratory trying to perfect the formula for it. And the second they do, the Germans are going to put it in a bomb casing, and they're going to drop it. The first target is London. After that, there's only one other logical target for German aggression. They've even captured an American DC-3. They plan to penetrate Allied air defenses. Now, there's only one way that they can be stopped. Someone has to go inside the mine, get the French scientists out if possible, and blow up, demolish, disintegrate every square inch of that laboratory so that there's nothing left of the Germans or their plans except ashes. And that's exactly what the 5 of us in this room are going to do.
Pretty big job for just 5 men, isn't it, Lieutenant?
Well, if we had 500 or even 5,000, Sergeant, we would have a larger, stronger military force. That's true. But we'd also have a larger, stronger force of German resistance. Now, 2 things would happen if we used a much larger unit than we have now. First, the Germans would unquestionably spot us before we got even within 20 miles of the mine. It's virtually impossible to hide a battalion in open country. Second, they'd seal that mine up tighter than Fort Knox the moment they heard about an invasion force. It is a big job for just 5 men. But the Germans think exactly the same thing. The point is, if we are observed, the whole German army won't go on alert, and the presence of only 5 Americans won't change any of the security precautions already in effect at the mine. Our strength lies in the fact that we're small in number. All of you are combat veterans, and you've demonstrated a great ability to fight with calculated deadliness under circumstances of extreme duress. Now, take Sergeant Trickey here. He has probably destroyed more enemy structures than any man in the Army. He's the foremost non-commissioned demolitions expert the Army has. He's contributed a great deal to the development of the explosives we'll be using on this mission. In the mission, Sergeant Trickey's decisions will be final. They'll override either mine or the Major's. In any matter pertaining to demolitions, the use of them, or their implementation, Sergeant Trickey has the last word. Now, Private Ford gave up a job in civilian life as the director of the Personal Combative Section at the FBI Academy. He did that so he could fight on the front lines in the Army. Last year, Private Ford got the highest score in artillery marksmanship in the Army. If anybody can hold that gun and use it against the Germans as we escape from the mine, Private Ford's the man. Private Smith looks a little young to be a pilot of a DC-3 airplane. Nevertheless, he's a graduate aeronautical engineer. Private Smith will pilot the aircraft that we'll be escaping in, and he'll also make any necessary mechanical adjustments to compensate for any changes the Germans might have made in loading the explosive that they plan to drop. Major Black's decorations speak for themselves. And the Major's also flown many types of aircraft. He'll take Private Smith's place if anything should happen. As for myself, working with G2, I'm very familiar with this mission. I've organized part of it myself. If anything should happen to our plans when we leave the mine about getting into the airplane, I know who our contacts are and where they are. All right, any questions?
All right, sir, assuming that we do get to the mine, how are the 5 of us going to blow it up? Or disintegrate it, as you said?
All right, I have a demonstration film that will probably answer that question quite thoroughly, Private Smith. Private Ford, the film is already threaded in the projector. I'll turn the lights out, and you turn it on.
The purpose of this film is not how to teach you to use dynamite, but to demonstrate the tremendous power of this new explosive. Here, a man is placing 36 of regular dynamite at 12 inches in depth in rocky terrain. Another advantage of this new explosive is that there's no caps or fuses needed. There she goes. Now, the charge is being placed at the same depth in the same type of terrain. He is setting the timer for 15 seconds. Pull the fuse and run like hell. Notice the difference? Much more powerful than 30 sticks of dynamite.
That stuff is so new, gentlemen, that there are people in the Army that don't even know it exists. Now, this is what 3 ounces of the explosive looks like. It's equivalent to 30 sticks of dynamite. Catch. Don't worry, Private Smith, it's not going to hurt you. You can drop it, burn it, smash it with a hammer, shoot it, do anything you like. There's only one way you can set it off, and that's with an electric current. As I said, this stuff is so new that very few men in the Army know anything about it. It's not been used in the field yet. It's not even listed in military catalogs, and it won't be until it's available in larger quantities. Now, Sergeant Tricky is a demolitions expert. He's one of the very few men in the Army that know anything about this stuff, and I'll let him explain how it works. Sergeant?
Like the lieutenant said, this container has 3 ounces of explosives inside it. To detonate, you set the timer on the number that you want. Each number represents 1 minute. Then you pull this ratchet pin out. This starts the timer. When the timer reaches 0, it releases an electric current from a set of batteries inside the casing, and then it goes off. This stuff is about as dangerous to carry as dog food.
You men will be carrying containers like that strapped to your legs under the uniforms. Now, they're light and they're compact. They won't interfere with any running or any physical movements in combat. If the Germans should catch you, they won't be able to tell whether you have any explosives on at all. About the only drawback I can think of is that they might make your pants look baggy.
Which gives the Germans another foolish reason for thinking they're superior. Well, Private Smith, that's how the 5 of us plan to make a shambles out of that mine. Are there any other questions?
Well, what's the main plan, sir?
If you'll all step over here to the relief map, I'll show you exactly what's going to happen. We're going to leave here by plane and airdrop into this valley. It's in the middle of an unpatrolled no man's land about 40 miles from Biskra. It's the closest that we can get to the mine without being spotted by the Germans.
All right, you men, snap it up. Get this ammo box uncrated. I want these chutes buried with the box. Ramsey?
Yes, sir.
I've been going over this map, and we've got a lot of rugged miles ahead of us. Now, we can go over the mountains or through the desert. There's fewer Krauts in the mountains, but it's further. We can save 2 days going through the desert.
Major, the colonel has already decided on the mountain route.
I'm aware of that, Lieutenant, but it's plain the desert is shorter.
Yeah, what about water?
Well, according to the map, there's a couple of springs that may be dry.
I think the mountains would be better, Major. First of all, we can't take any chances on kraut spotting us before we reach that mine. Secondly, if we get caught in the middle of that desert without any water, it's going to be pure hell.
Well, that's what war is, Ramsey, pure hell. Now, the odds are against us any way we go. I thought you knew that. What did you think this was going to be, another training exercise back at the War College?
No, I didn't think it was...
We're going to take the shortest route there is, whether you like it or not. Now, get this detail finished and let's get the hell out of here.
Yes, sir. All right, Smith, you and Ford, start digging a hole for that box. Yes, sir. Ford. Major! Major!
Get your butt off the ground, soldier.
Can't you see that man is exhausted? He's got to get some rest.
But I want anything out of you, I'll ask for it.
Damn it, are you crazy? We just staggered across 15 miles of the hottest hellhole on Earth. These men have got to rest or they're gonna drop.
Ramsey, I'm sick and tired of your stinking insubordination. There's no field marshal out here to change your diapers when the going gets rough. You just ain't got the guts. And I'll put you behind bars when this is over, so help me God. Out here, I'm in command. You'll do what I say, when I say it, the way I say it, and we'll rest when I say it. Right now, we're gonna move out. Got it? Move!
Hey, Tricky, I want you to relieve Ford at 2400 hours, and if you see anything out there that you even suspect is wrong, I want you to wake me immediately.
Right, Lieutenant.
Smith, how you feeling now?
Oh, I guess I'll make it, sir. A couple of cans of those K rations, and I'll take on the whole German army. How long do you think it'll be before we run into any Krauts, Lieutenant?
Oh, I don't know, Tricky. They could pop up at any time out of any place. I just hope the hell we don't see any of them until we hit the mine.
Oh, I don't know. I'd settle for a nice Fraulein and a cold beer right now. You got a lot of class, Tricky.
You'll be darn lucky if those are the only kind of Germans you see before we...
Ramsey?
Yes, sir?
Good night, Lieutenant.
Good night, Tricky.
Cigarette?
All right, thank you, sir.
Rough day at the desert. Sun was hot.
Yeah, the strain was pretty bad on all of us, sir. I guess I kind of cracked a little when I flew off the handle out there.
Well, I understand how you feel about the men, Ramsey. But there's just one important thing. That's to get that damn mine blown and stop that bomb. I don't have to remind you there's other lives at stake besides ours if we fail.
I know, sir, and the men feel exactly the same way.
If anything should happen tomorrow, to me, mine, well, I didn't mean what I said about prison.
Well, Major, I didn't mean it when I said you were crazy either.
Posted any guards?
Yes, sir, the Ford's standing out there now, and Tricky's going to relieve him at 2400. I think we're going to go check on Ford now. Good night, sir.
Post a guard.
Get down, everyone.
Hast du überhaupt nichts anderes zu tun, du dummes Luder? Gucke mich an, wie ich aussehe. Du sollst lieber auf die Gegner aufpassen.
Tricky, get on top of the hill, see what's over there.
Lieutenant, don't move! Stay where you are!
Kamerad, Kamerad!
I cease fire! Cease fire!
Bitte, Kamerad, nicht schließen. Kamerad, Kamerad.
Do you speak English?
Ich kann nicht verstehen.
I know this pig speaks English. Let me cut his throat.
No, don't kill me. I will talk.
What's your name, rank, and mission?
I am Fritz Kleinschmidt, overfuhrer, and that is all I have to say according to Geneva Convention.
Hell with the Geneva Convention. Talk!
We were just on Neugel Patrol.
All right, what time you check in by radio?
There is no special time.
You lying bastard, what time?
Went today at noon.
All right, that's just a couple of minutes from now. You get on that radio, you make your report. One wrong word and you're dead.
Move it over there.
Ford, dispose of the weapons.
Overfuhrer Kleinschmidt hier. Ja, 4 sind Firmen hier. Alles Guten. Yeah.
Get back.
Don't you move.
Hey, Major, how about the Jeep?
We'll use it to cross the desert. We'll abandon it up in the hills. All right, let's get moving.
Is everything all right, Major?
That takes care of that problem. Triggy, demolish the radio.
Yes, sir.
Would you like me to turn it off, Major?
Come on, Ford.
All right, we'll abandon the Jeep here. We may have to use it on the way back.
All right, let's move out.
We can't push on any further tonight. And after running into those krauts, no fires. This damn desert's always too hot or too cold.
I can't forget that kid's face. My kid brother's older than he was. I hope to God he's still playing baseball. He couldn't have been more than 15.
Hey, that kid was gonna kill you, baby.
The kid was no problem. That sergeant would have been. Those Germans sure have guts. I thought he was terrified enough not to try anything. But I damn near got myself killed. That's one I owe you, Smitty.
Finally. Thank you. Thank you. You know, you gotta hand it to him, though, 'cause he knew he couldn't get all of you, but he just kept killing until he couldn't anymore.
Well, they're good soldiers, all right, but he knew he was going to get killed. It was just a survival instinct. Well, he knew we couldn't carry any prisoners.
What would you have done with him, Major?
Kill him before he got to the mine. I wouldn't like it, but we don't have any men to spare for guard duty.
Major, is this explosive as important as the Pentagon thinks it is?
Oh, look, I did the planning and research on this mission. And if the Germans have that explosive to use, we can forget about the plans for defending Europe, and it'd just be lost.
Well, you heard the man.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm gonna be glad to see some real action, because fighting those Germans is gonna be a hell of a lot easier than fighting this desert. I always hated the desert. If I get back, my wife had better not suggest a Southwest vacation. I'm strictly a city boy from now on. Yeah, I'm going to London. I gotta get there before all their men come home, though. There's this one little dish down at the depot. She's married, but she's not afraid to show her gratitude to the Yanks. What gratitude?
My wife believes that line about British Reserve. She's glad we hit London instead of Paris. I hope the hell she never finds out.
Hey, you remember that driver over at the motor pool, the one that looked like Grable?
Who could forget those legs? How'd you make out with that gal?
In like Flynn.
You single guys have all the luck.
Hey, it ain't just 'cause I'm single. It's just that I know how.
Major, why did you keep me out of the battle this morning?
Well, you might call it fatherly protection.
I don't think I need any fatherly protection. I don't need any protection at all. The Academy taught me to protect myself.
Well, it wasn't exactly protection. You've lived with the layout of this mine longer than anyone. You're more vital to this mission than anyone.
Lieutenant, don't you ever get scared?
Well, according to the book, fear causes most of the mistakes soldiers make. Now, I go by the book and avoid fear.
I wished I'd had that book this morning. I was sure scared.
All right, men, let's turn in. Ford, you take the first watch. You're on till 4. Tricky will relieve you in 2 hours.
Ramsey, we'll stop here for a half an hour.
Yes, sir.
Smith, get up on the rocks. Keep an eye on the valley below. Move it, man! Tricky, keep an eye on the rear.
Yes, sir.
komm her hier. Lass uns hinterzu.
Freut
Nehmt euch ein Glas Wasser,
Jüde.
ein bisschen erfrischen.
Oh ja.
Denn wir müssen uns bald auf die Socken machen.
Ja, aber bleib mal ein bisschen länger hier.
Ja, was morgen ist Sonntag.
Ja.
Wir wollen die Patrouille oberhaben.
Ja, wenn sie muss gern, dann muss gern, ja.
So, lass uns ein Wasser trinken und dann lass uns rangehen.
Gut, haben Sie ein bisschen Wasser? Ich kann auf den Berg ausgucken, ja.
Ja, aber gehen.
Oh, das weiß ich nicht. Ich glaube, wir bleiben so lang hier. Oh, das weiß ich. Ja. Ein Craig, gehen auf den Berg ausgucken, ja.
Ah, das ist alles, was du in Gedanken hast.
Oh, weiß ich nicht. Vielleicht bleiben wir schon lang hier. Oder
Setz dich hin hier und ruh dich aus.
Ja,
Wir bleiben nicht so lange hier.
hoffentlich bleiben wir.
Setz dich hin. Keine Zeit für. Wir fahren bald weiter.
Hey, Tricky, give me a drink, will you?
Komm, Fritz, komm wieder her. Komm her hier.
Ich kann auf den Berg zum Ausgucken, ja.
Du sollst lieber aufpassen hier, was so untergeht.
Oh, ich weiß nicht. Ich glaube, ich bleibe lange hier. Oh, das weiß ich nicht. Ich glaube, wir bleiben so lange hier. Oh, das weiß ich nicht. Ja. Ein Craig, ich kann auf den Berg ausgucken, ja.
Ah, das ist alles, was du in Gedanken hast. Halt! Wo sind unsere Granaten?
What the hell are they doing now?
I don't know. Why don't you ask him?
All right, you guys, knock it off.
Open fire!
Achtung, Feinde, geht in Deckung.
Behind the rock!
right, hold your fire, men. We got them all. How is he, Tricky?
He got on the shoulder. It's not too bad.
Ramsey, go patch him up. Ford, go destroy that other Jeep.
I'm gonna hold that Jeep, Major. We might be able to use it.
We don't want to alert the whole German army. Destroy the Jeep.
Let's get out of here.
Come on, Lieutenant, let's go.
All right, be on your toes, man. We're approaching the area. Mine should be right over there. Now, just be quiet.
All right, Major, this looks like the place.
We'll go down the first thing in the morning. We'll pitch camp up here tonight.
You think it might be a better idea to pitch camp down there in that cave where we have some protection?
No, I don't.
I didn't think you'd go for the good idea.
Post your guard, Ramsey.
Yes, sir, Major, sir. All right, Tricky, you take the first watch. Ford, we're leaving in 3 hours.
Tricky, tie that rope to that bush there.
Right, Major.
All right, Tricky, you go down first.
Yes, sir. Come on, Tricky, let's go.
right, we'll take 5. Tricky, you and Smitty check your weapons and the explosives.
Yes, sir.
All right, Fort, this is where we separate. I think we better go over these plans once again. Follow them as close as possible because all our lives will depend on your protecting our exit from the mine. Now, we've gone over this enough times that you should have a good, clear mental picture of the area. Do you know exactly where the machine gun nest is?
Yes, sir, I do. But I don't know the possible cover. The map only shows elevation, a road, and a hill.
Well, Fort, this is no guided tour. You'll be on your own the same as we'll be in the mine. And who knows what the hell we'll find. Now, the main thing is that when and if we get out, that we'll have protection. That machine gun nest has got to be knocked out. If you fail, we'll be pinned in the tunnel with no way out. We'll go up when the mine goes.
All right, sir. But what if I make it and you don't?
But I'll give you a 72-hour pass. Enjoy it in London. All right, let's go over this again. First, you take Tunnel 5. Tunnel 5 will lead you to the foot of Hill 2174. From there, you should be able to see the machine gun nest. Now, you walk, crawl, or drag yourself to the foot of that embankment. You get up on top, you eliminate the guard, put on his uniform, and wait for us. Now, when you see us coming, set a charge for 30 seconds. We'll try to requisition some transportation to meet you at the foot of the hill.
According to the briefing, you've only got 20 minutes to do all this.
Well, Ford, it'll take us 5 minutes to get to the entrance to the mine, 7 minutes to set all the charges, less than 10 minutes to pick up the scientists and make it to the mouth of Tunnel 7. Now, like I said before, if we run into any trouble, we'll just have to play it by ear.
Good luck, sir.
Weißt du, die Kleine, die ich zu Hause gehabt habe, sie war sehr nett. Aber meine Mutter ist immer dazwischen. Jedes Mal, wenn ich ein nettes Mädchen habe, kommt sie dazwischen und dann ist es wieder vorbei. Was ist los? Das sind bloß Ratten.
Wollen wir sie fangen?
Hey, Fritz.
Und ich muss Sie informieren, dass der Band 14 produziert nicht die erwünschten Resultate. Come in.
You called for me, sir?
Yes, my dear, come in. That is all. Thank you for this day. Entschuldigen Sie bitte, Fräulein.
Entschuldigen Sie bitte.
Sit down, Tom.
No, I didn't come here to fraternize. Just exactly what is it you want?
Come on, come on. A little drink won't make you a collaborator. And we can talk more easily, yeah? Darling, why do you make things so difficult for your father and yourself? The Germans are willing to share our victories. But you must cooperate with us.
Victories? What victories? You say you plan on taking over the entire world, but when the Americans enter the war, they'll stop you.
The Americans are only good for worrying about their Coca-Cola machines. Little girl, don't fight me, yeah? This mine is so strict that I report only to the Führer. No one knows we're out here in this desert. The Allies are being kept too busy by our magnificent armies to even worry about us out here.
Somebody will find out. And when they do, your guards will have armies to fight rather than girls and old men.
Yeah? My guards are an army of highly trained men, and you'll do well to remember that. Of course, I want you for myself, but if I don't get you, I will give you to my men.
You filthy German pig!
Hallo?
Ja, Commander. Wir werden von amerikanischen Kommandos angegriffen. Die sind in der Boden in Richtung.
Die Amerikaner?
Die Zimmer, die Schinderstein.
Was? Amerikanische Kommandos sind hier in die Mine, um den Scientisten festzunehmen? Erschieße die Scientisten. Erschieße die allen, bevor die dort sind. Das ist eine Befehle. Das ist eine Befehle.
All right. The rest of you guys finish plenty of the charges. Tricky and I'll get the scientists.
Those dirty bastards.
What the hell are we gonna do now?
There's nothing more we can do here. Let's get Smith and Ramsey to get out of here before this joint blows. Smitty? Smitty!
Hey, the lieutenant's hit. Major, he's had it.
Come on, Tricky.
Stop, Major. Smitty got hit. Let's go.
How'd it go? I have a charge set for 30 seconds. There's a half track about 200 yards back. The only way we can stop it is by blowing that bridge about 200 yards down the road there.
I'm out of charges, Major. So am I.
I have one left, sir.
Good, get in.
Let's go, let's go.
Tricky, we're 30 seconds behind schedule. That mine should go any second now.
Ford, you drop off here. Watch your back trail for Germans.
I don't see any Krauts on her tail. Let's check Smitty. How bad is he, Sergeant?
He lucked out again, sir. Just another flesh wound.
Just another flesh wound. Smitty, I think you're the only one the Krauts are trying to get. And a lieutenant. Yeah. Major, what do we do now?
Ford, you'll keep the uniform on. You'll be a German bringing in 2 American prisoners.
There's 3 of you, sir.
Well, there won't be. Tricky, you think you can make it off that Jeep while it's moving?
Maybe. Why?
Well, I don't want to stop or slow down as we pass the airstrip. It'll look too suspicious. I want you to jump off and head for that plane. When you get in the compound with Ford, we'll create a diversion. That'll give you a chance to get in the strip. When you hear the gunfire, you head for the plane. Now, if there's a guard there, you get him. Then cover us when we make a break for it.
Scratch one guard. What do we do while he takes the plane, sir?
Can you move around on that leg all right?
If it'll get me the hell out of here, you bet.
You'll ride up in front with me. Ford, remember, you're bringing in 2 prisoners. Now, the minute we get in that gate, we'll open fire with everything we've got. The first chance we get, we'll make a break for the plane. Any questions?
No, sir.
All right, let's go.
All right, Tricky, off.
Halt!
Wen hast du uns denn da angebracht?
American is prisoner.
Hey, wen haben Sie denn da?
Scramble. Everybody's in the plane. Come on, Ford.